Hey, so the first squat that we're going to be doing is the back squat. And for the back squat, a lot of people have trouble at the bottom of the movement getting the bar over their head just due to mobility. And some people also have like a really long torso. So if you're not comfortable using using your resistance bands on the third notch, you can try moving it up to the fourth and doing like maybe more of a partial rep. But for a lot of people, they'll be able to do the back squat comfortably with like a maximal load at the bottom. Because remember, the lower that you put or the less notches that you have being used, the more tension that you're gonna have. So I'll just show you the setup. You get to the bottom, and when you bring the bar over your head, you're gonna wanna be squatted like all the way down like this. And for some of you, you'll be able to just put it over your head like that. Some of you might have to sort of do a small overhead press. And if you're not flexible and you're not comfortable doing this, definitely try putting it on the fourth notch so that you can, you can get in the position and just add more weight to it. And, it's okay to do partial repetitions. So here's the bar and stand up. So for a back squat, there's lots of tutorials online for doing them, but the basics of a back squat is you just sit down. Don't have your knees going too far over your toes, just a little bit. Keep your core tight and your back straight and stand back up. And try to get a good workout on the eccentric of the movement as well. So move slowly. Don't just sit down really fast, and try not to use a bounce at the bottom in order to move up more quickly and use momentum to assist you. Just move slow and controlled. And try to squeeze your glutes when you're at the top of the movement. That applies to basically every variation of a squat. All right, so that's it for a back squat. When you want to take the weight off, just sit down, pull it over your head. The great thing about resistance bands is that at the bottom, it's a lot lighter and it's pretty comfortable to get it off. So the next one is a front squat. For a front squat, all you need to do is get in the same position you were in for the back squat. Grab the bar, put it on your shoulders, and this is my favorite variation of it, which is just sitting right here. You can also take the bar and hold it like this if you're comfortable doing that. I just prefer it this way. And do the same thing you would for a back squat. Just basically stand up and sit down, just like that. Squeeze your glutes at the top, keep your core tight, keep your back straight, sit down and stand up. The great thing about a front squat is that it puts a lot of the tension on your quads. So it's a more quad dominant exercise than a back squat. Now, you can also do, and you probably shouldn't unload the weight like I just did. I don't have a lot on here right now so that I can make it through these videos. But for another variation of this, you can do what's called a Zercher squat or a Zercher. I'm not sure how you say it exactly, but basically what you do is you put the bar in the nook of your elbows like this. So you just hold it right there. And the great thing about this bar is it's a lot more comfortable than a conventional barbell, where if you're using a conventional barbell, it'd be putting a lot of pressure on your arms and it might make it more really uncomfortable, especially with a lot of weight. So you put the barbell right in the nook of your elbows and you stand up. Now, this variation is a lot like a front squat in terms of which muscle groups you're going to be targeting, because the load is in front of your body. So it's going to be more of a quad dominant exercise. And you may want to put it on the second notch instead of the third notch in order to keep tension at the bottom. You see how it's sort of going slack right here? So what I would do is I'm just going to use one band right now for the sake of time. So what I'm going to do is put this on the second notch and this one as well. And now, with at least the black band, I'll be keeping tension at the bottom of the movement. And this is a great exercise exactly for that reason, because I do think that you have more tension throughout the entire movement with the Zercher squat. So this is a really great exercise. Just make sure you keep your core tight, squeeze your glutes at the top, sit down, controlled, stand up. That's it. Slow and controlled, and use as much weight as you can while doing the movement safely and controlled. All right. That's it for the squat variations. There's a lot more that you can do, but those are the main movements, and anything else that you figure out, feel free to share it with the community, and maybe send me an email and let me know if you come up with something creative. All right, so this exercise is the good morning, and I really love this exercise, especially with the EVO Gym, because it really targets your hamstrings and your glutes as well, but it's just a great overall hamstring workout. And because the bar is so high on your back, you have like a pretty good range of tension on the bands as well during the movement. So basically for a good morning, all that you do is you pick up the bar and get into the way that you would set it up for a squat. Squat down, put the bar over your head, and stand up. And definitely start out with a low weight for this one so you can find what's comfortable for you. And then you lean forward like you're gonna try and touch your toes. Keep the knee just very slightly bent, like very slightly. Lean forward, a lot of tension on your hamstrings. Go about to a 90 degree and stand back up. Keep tension on your hamstrings. Make sure your back stays straight and just do slow and controlled repetitions, and make sure that you're feeling that stretch on your hamstrings at the bottom. Right there. And in a minute, I'll turn to the side so that you can sort of see the movement. But basically, all that you're really doing is you're leaning forward, and the weight's pulling you downwards and putting a lot of tension on your hamstrings. So that's it for a good morning. And I would definitely recommend starting out with lower weight and testing it. You want to sort of put it on the notch that you would do a standard squat with, but you're not going to be using nearly as much weight. So for the movement, this is all you're doing. You're standing there, you got the weight, and you just lean forward. And you can see how I'm keeping my back straight and how a lot of tension is going on to my hamstrings. Sort of like when you touch your toes, but a little bit less, a little bit less straight. Just like that. Then you stand up, slow and controlled. All right, another way that you can do good mornings is with the Zercher hold. So you put it in the nooks of your elbows, just like this. Oops. And you're gonna, once again, want to probably lower the notch, put it on the second notch instead of the third, depending on your height, of course, for this movement. And you just lean forward with the weight. Now, definitely want to put it for myself on the second notch for this movement, but this is just for the purpose of demonstration. This will be a lot easier and more comfortable for some people. It'll be more uncomfortable for others. It's all really up to your own, your own taste, your own anthropometry, whatever works for you. So that's it for the good morning. It's really great for your hamstrings. If it's your first time doing the workout, you're definitely going to be really sore afterwards. So take it easy your first time and give it a shot. Hey, so for this exercise, you're going to be doing calf raises. There's a lot of different ways that you can do calf raises. You can do single leg, do it with 2 legs. So for the purposes of making this video quick and simple, I'm just going to show a few different positions you can keep the bar in, and also, just maybe give you a few instructions for making sure that you're staying safe and while you're doing the exercise. So all you would do is get the bar on your back, and we're going to be doing the first one in sort of like the initial squat position. So we're going to be standing up, and at the top, what you're going to want to do is scoot your feet back so that the balls of your feet are on the center of the base. That's because when you're leaning forward a lot, the base might wobble a bit because you're putting a lot of weight towards the front, and you've also got the aluminum frame going through the middle. So this will make it a lot more stable when you do your calf raises. So just get the balls of your feet in the middle of the base and load up as much weight as you want, and just do a normal calf raise. You want to do it slow and controlled. So when you get to the bottom, stand up and squeeze at the top. And go slowly down. My calves are actually already sore right now because I just did these the other day and I've neglected my calves, so this actually hurts a little bit. But you just go slow and controlled right in the middle of the base. Make sure that it feels stiff and really firm underneath you, because that's where the aluminum frame is. And if you're really heavy or you have a lot of weight on your back and you're standing on the tips of your toes, it's just safer to make sure that you're standing right there. Okay, so that's it for if it's on your back. You can also do it with these Zercher holds as well, like this. You know, just putting it in the nooks of your elbows. And of course, if you want to put it on the second notch, or like I like to do the first notch, you can just hold it like this, like you would be doing a deadlift. So you hold it right here at the bottom, put on a lot of weight, and do your calf raises like that. So just for demonstration, I'll go on ahead and put it on the first one. And you'd be surprised by how much weight you can use with a calf press, a calf raise, because like, you know, right now I'm just using 50 pounds on each side, but you can do a couple hundred, a lot of you can, and you'll probably still be able to do a decent number of reps. So I'm gonna put on the first notch just for the purpose of demonstration. And one more, take it off, take this off. All right, so just to show you what's up with it, it's fine. It's fine if it's twisted, but sometimes it makes it a little awkward. I'm not gonna bother fixing it right now. So deadlift it up and do your calf raises like that. Same exact thing as the back squat. You're just doing it on a lower notch. And honestly, I like this one more because you don't have to squat the weight up, and you can just put a ton of tension on the bands without even having to worry about getting to the bottom and unloading the weight. So slow and controlled. Make sure that you're really squeezing your calves at the top of the movement. You can also do single leg calf raises where you can put one of your legs behind you and go like this. This one's a little bit difficult. Like, I prefer not to do them because I see no reason not to do two legs at the same time. But you can definitely do this if, let's say, you have insanely strong calves and you're just not able to get enough weight. So, which I doubt will be the case for most people. Now, of course, you can also get the handles and use the handles and attach them to the bands as well. So it's the same exact thing as the bar. You put it on the first notch, you grab the handles, and you do your calf raises. You could put the handles up like this. You could do a lot of different things for calf raises, but it's a very basic movement, and I think most of you will like the standard variations with it. You know, and if you want to do some body weight calf raises, like bouncing around on your toes, that's fine as well. So that's calf raises with the EVO Gym. Hey, so for this exercise, we're going to be doing lunges. And basically the starting position is going to be the same as if you're setting up a squat or like, you know, back raises with the bar on your back. All you do is you get into the bottom, get the bar over your head. And with the lunge, you're definitely going to be doing a lot less than you would with the squat because you're doing a single leg. And all you're going to do is get it up here onto your neck. And yeah, these bands are a little twisted, but it's not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about fixing them right now. So you have the bar right here. Get your foot in the center, whichever leg you're going to be working out. Just try and get it right over the center of the base because you're going to be stepping back with your other leg and bending it down. And you want this front leg to go 290 degrees or past it. So just bend down and stand up. Keep your back straight, your core tight, and just go slow and controlled. And one recommendation I have is you can bring this front foot forward while you do it to really get the squeeze in at the top with your glutes and your quads. This is a really good exercise for your quads, as well as your glutes to an extent. I really love this exercise with the EVO Gym. It's really comfortable, and even with the back squat, getting in at the bottom will be okay for most people because you're not using as much weight as you would need to with the standard squat, since of course you're just using one leg. So go down to the bottom, stand up. I'm not going to do that too much because the pool's right there. So I hope you get that one. So for the movement, I'm just going to show you real quick. You just stand like this. This foot's in the middle of the base. Bring that leg back, just like that. You can alternate your legs in between if you want, but I prefer to do all my reps with one leg and then switch to the other one. All right. Another way that you can do lunges is you can do it with the Zercher hold. And I'm going to leave it on the third notch, but you're going to want to up the tension, you know, put it down to the second one, or the third one if you're really tall, so that you can have more tension at the bottom. So just hold it like this. Get your foot in the middle and do a lunge. Make sure that your back's straight, your core's tight, and you're going slow and controlled. You can bring that foot up and really squeeze at the top if you want to. If not, you can keep your foot back and do them like this. It's up to you. All right. And one thing I do love about the Zercher hold is that you have more external rotation. You have to keep your core tight, and it's really just a great overall exercise. And I think it's going to be a lot more comfortable for some people to get in that position as well. So that's it for lunges, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so for this exercise, you're going to be doing deadlifts. And for a deadlift, you're going to want to put the notch on the first one. So the first notch on the bands, so that you have a lot of tension at the bottom. Now, you just grab the bar, come to the bottom of the movement, and get your feet about shoulder width apart. So at the bottom of the deadlift, when you set up, you want to make sure that your butt's low and your knees are just over your toes. All right, so here is your starting position. Keep your chest up. You don't want your chest parallel to the ground. You want it up at about a 45-degree angle. And when you stand up, just pull upwards, push the floor away from you, and squeeze your glutes at the top. So just be slow and controlled about it, and stand up, squeeze your glutes at the top. It's a very simple exercise. Add as much weight as you need to make it difficult. You don't really want to go above the 12 rep range with deadlifts. And for a lot of you, you'll be able to use more than enough weight with the EVO Gym, especially if you buy an extra pair of bands, of 50-pound bands if you need it. And here I'll show you the movement from the side. All you're doing, you're sitting down. The bar is right over the center of your feet. Nice and low like this. Keep your chest up and pull the weight. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Just like that. The other variation is a stiff-legged deadlift. It's a little bit different. So all you're going to be doing for the stiff-legged deadlift variation is you're going to be actually pushing your butt outwards like this, putting tension on your hamstrings, sort of like with the good morning, but you're still going to be keeping the weight over the center of your feet. So it's right here. You see how my back is now coming more to a almost parallel position with the ground, and you're pulling up. So it's a lot more on your hamstrings when you're doing this version. So I'll just show you with the bar really fast. This is a stiff-legged variation. All right, so starting here, feet shoulder width apart. Of course, there's other stances that you can take, other variations of the lift, but this is just for the purpose of this one exercise. So pull it just like that. Glutes, squeeze at the top, slow and controlled. Weight over the center of your feet. Keep your back and core tight, and squeeze at the top. Now, I'm not using very much weight for the purpose of being able to make it through these videos without dying, but you get the idea. A lot of tension on the top of the movement, a little bit less at the bottom, but you still want to make sure that it's more than enough for you. You can also do these with the Zercher hold. I'll just show you really fast. These are a bit more difficult. You're going to be really uncomfortable at the bottom, like a lot of people will be, because you have to have a lot of mobility to get this hold. But you hold it right here, you come to a deadlift position, and you deadlift it up. Same movement as before. Just like that. There's going to be a lot more tension on the bands when you do it this way. All right. So that's it for deadlifts, and I'll see you in the next video. Great, so for this video, what we're going to be doing are a few different leg workout variations, sort of accessory movements that you can do at the end of an exercise after more compound movements, or if you just want to get a lot of volume in for a leg day in general. So for these, I'm going to start with some leg curls for your hamstrings. And you're going to have to forgive me. I had a human moment and I left the actual ankle straps at my house before we came on this trip. So I'm going to be using a door anchor and just sort of wrapping it around my ankle. It actually works fine. So this will at least communicate the idea. So I'm just gonna put this over my ankle. Actually, I'm gonna put it on here first. So for the kickbacks, or the leg curls, you're gonna wanna put this ankle strap inside the resistance band. Put the resistance band probably on the second notch is gonna be what's best for most of you. And then you just step through it with your foot right here. And there we go. So stand sort of a little bit far back from the front of it so that when you start the movement, there's already tension on the band. And all you're gonna do is extend right here. Keep this part of your leg straight and really just use your hamstring to curl it. You can adjust the weight as needed, add more bands if it's not enough, and just curl your leg like this. It's okay if the front of the base moves up a little bit because you know you have a lot of weight pulling this way. But if it's too much, if it's moving up too much, just step forward a little bit, put more weight right there, and maybe try and bring this leg a little bit further back. So just make sure you're keeping tension on your hamstring throughout the movement, and you're just curling the weight up. You do the same thing with your other leg, just put your other foot inside there and do the same motion. Now, you can also do hip abductions, which is when you stand away from same position as before, keep tension at the end of the band, and bring your leg out like this. This is gonna work out your hip abductors. And once again, if you wanna do your other leg, you just turn around and do it facing the other way. So bring your leg out like this. It's very simple. And actually, many of you may want to put it on the first notch so you can stand closer in and you can have more tension on the band throughout the movement. I'm just gonna keep it right here for the sake of demonstration. But really, with a lot of this, you're gonna want to experiment with how much weight you're using and which notch you're starting with, just so that you have tension throughout the movement and you're making the most out of the workout. So that's a curl and then a hip abduction, and you can also do a hip extension. So this is gonna work out your glutes. All you do is you stand like you were before, and instead of doing a hamstring curl, what I'm actually gonna do is push my legs straight back like that. So this is squeezing your glutes right here. You're just using your glute to move the weight backwards. You're just extending the weight like that. Now, once again, you might wanna move it on to the first notch if that doesn't work well for you. If you wanna work out your other leg, you put your leg in there, try to get the same reps in for both of your legs. And then another exercise that you can do is actually extensions, leg extensions, not hip extensions. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna put the weight, here I'll switch legs so it's easier for you to see. Oh. Put the weight through, put my foot through here. And all you're gonna do, stand here, get your leg at a 90-degree angle and kick it forward. Now this is actually a balancing exercise as well. So it might be a little bit awkward for many of you. And you wanna stand right over the aluminum at the bottom and you just extend your leg like that. It's a very good quad exercise if you can do it properly. Now, that one's a bit awkward, to be honest. So there's some other ways you can do it, such as you can grab a seat and put one leg on the base and put a chair over it. So you can do your extensions like sitting down, or like use the door anchor for your extensions as well, your leg extensions. But that is one way to work out your quads with the base and just using the straps. Now, you can also do a pull through. So it's like a cable pull through, but you're basically doing it with, with resistance bands instead. So this is actually a really easy exercise to perform. I do have rope handles that I can use for this, but because a lot of you don't have rope handles, I'm just gonna demonstrate it using the bands like in their current form. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this off and I'm gonna do a simple version of it, just holding the bands like this. Now, many of you are gonna wanna use the handles or even the bar in order to do this exercise, but I'm just gonna show you it like this so that you get the idea. There's lots of accessories and lots of different ways that you can do this. You just stand forward on the base, come back like this. You see the bands are coming through my legs. I'm letting it pull me back. And then to come forward, I'm squeezing my glutes like this. And make sure you keep some pressure on your heels so that the base doesn't come up too much. All right? So put as much weight on there as you want in order to get the movement to be effective. And you're really just squeezing your glutes in order to move the weight forward like that. Okay, some of you may want to experiment with this being on the first notch. For a lot of you, the second notch will probably be the best. And once again, you can use rope handles with this. You can use the normal handles. You can also use the bar. So that's it for this exercise, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, so for this exercise, we're going to be trying something that's a little bit more of an advanced variation. Even on their own, pistol squats are pretty hard. So if you want to really make things more difficult for yourself and like you're wanting to have a lot of weight, well, how do you get a lot of weight when you're doing body weight training? You use one leg instead of two legs. So like someone would do a standard squat, they would come down like this. Now, the alternative to that, if you want to make it a lot more difficult, is a pistol squat. So for a pistol squat, what you do is you do a single-legged squat. You bring your foot out in front and you stand up like that. Now, for some people, that might actually become pretty easy. It's not for most people, but if it does become easy for you and you want to try something a little bit more challenging, you can actually do a pistol squat with weight. You can grab the handles for the EVO Gym and hold on to it like this and do them. But I prefer not to do that because then the weight is actually directly under you and it doesn't counterbalance, you know, your position at the bottom. So what I like to do is hold the bar in the Zercher, you know, whatever, position, like right over here, right over my elbows. Put my foot right over the center of the base. And I'm not using a ton of tension right now because I really want to demonstrate this. And honestly, it's hard with just a little bit of weight. So all you do is you bring your leg forward like a normal pistol squat, just like that, and you stand up. All right? And I'll do it one more time. Just like that, and stand up with it. It's pretty difficult. And this is definitely a movement that is a little bit uncomfortable because of the way you have to cross your leg at the bottom. I do actually plan on having an accessory in the future where you can do it off of a stool that can comfortably stay over the base, and you can do lots of different movements like that. But for now, if you want to try something out, this is definitely a challenging movement that will grow your legs if you do a lot of them. All right, so that's it for this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.